Hi everyone, welcome to software testing online training from techtrainersonline.com. In today's session, we will talk about different types of system testing. In previous session, we talked about levels of testing, where we had unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and then user acceptance testing. So what and all we can do under system testing, we are going to discuss about it, like familiarization of various popular testing types. You have different types of system testings, whatever we have, that we are going to discuss about here. Whenever we say once the integration testing is done, generally testing team is going to start the testing as we discussed in the previous session, right?
Yeah.
So what we are going to do under system testing is what the topics what we are going to discuss here. So whenever the system is given to the testing team for the testing team starts the testing. Let's say that I have got the system for the testing, and I have written 1,000 test cases for doing the testing of the system. So does team going to start executing all 1,000 test cases? What is that we need to do whenever the system is given to the testing team to test it? What we need to do? So what we are trying to do, basically, whenever the system is given to the testing team to test it, first we are going to do the smoke testing or the build verification testing. So which means that whenever we wanted to execute our test cases, all 1,000 test cases, whatever we have discussed, we are not going to execute all the 1,000 test cases here. What we are trying to do here is first make sure that the system is really ready to do further testing. So what do you mean by really ready to do further testing? Now let's say that you have bank example. Okay. Now let me open the website. Let's say that I'm working for Citibank application. Just giving an example. Okay.
Okay.
Now I go to my Citibank application, citi.com. And you can see that there are a lot of options available under this Citibank. You see huge tabs, credit cards, banking, then you have lending, investing, under which you have again multiple options. Wealth management, open an account, how can we help, sign on, ATM branch, whatever, right? There are so many options. Now, let's say that for all these options, I have written the 1,000 test cases. So before doing my testing, I need to make sure whether the system is really ready to do further testing. So what I'm going to do in that, I need to go here first thing and see, click on this particular link and the relevant page is loading or not. If the relevant page is not loading, I will not be able to test this particular page at all, right? That page will not be even ready to do testing. So similarly, for every tab, under that one link itself, again, you have another thing, right? Under this, you have again multiple links. So what I'm trying to do, I'm going to click each and every link and make sure that the relevant page is loading or not. Okay. Now, if you take another example, you wanted to do online transactions for your online banking, right? When you wanted to do online banking, basically, you first of all need to log in order to do whatever you wanted to do, like payments of credit card bills or electricity bills, or online transfer funds, or adding the beneficiary. In order to do all these transactions, first you should be able to log in. Is that correct?
Yeah.
If you're not able to log in, you will not be able to do any testing at all. So that comes under smoke testing or build verification testing. Smoke testing means you are making sure that the minimum required functionality is working fine in order to do further testing. So if I can give one more example, if I say Facebook example, let's say Facebook. So in order to do all these transactions, like, liking or unliking or doing and everything, first you need to create an account, correct? So
Yeah.
first you need to create an account and you need to make sure that the Facebook login is working fine or not. If the Facebook login is not working, then you will not be able to do any testing. Major of the features comes after logging into the Facebook, right? Major of the function testing comes up into your banking application only after you log in into it. So that's what I'm trying to validate under the smoke testing. Smoke
Okay.
testing is performed to make sure that system is really ready to do further testing. So what I'm going to consider in this smoke testing, click on each and every link and make sure that particular page is loading or not. And you also have something called login functionality is working fine or not. So these are the minimum basic functionalities are working fine or not. That's what you are going to test it. Once you confirm that all the minimum required functionalities are working fine, then you go with the other types of system testing, whatever you wanted to do it, go ahead and do it. Build verification testing is also kind of similar. Whenever the development activity is completed, the development team used to build it and then they deploy it. That's why we call it as build verification testing. Build verification in the sense, whenever you get a build, you need to make sure that the system is build whatever is being deployed is working as expected or not. That's what it's more or less smoke testing and build verification testing, more or less both are same.
Okay.
Then the next one comes about the exploratory testing. So what do you mean by exploratory testing? So let's say that you are the first member in so you are new joiner into my project. You are a new tester who joined into the project and the project is already there from long term. So whenever you newly join into a project, so what we basically do, we basically try to do, ask the new tester, whoever is joining to the project, we will ask them to do the exploratory testing.
Okay.
Exploratory testing in the sense, now let's say that you have a banking account with whatever the bank, right? And
Yeah.
do you get any SRS document of that bank that you are having an account?
No.
You will not get any SRS document, right? So what are you trying to do? You bank says this is your user ID and this is your internet password. Use this user ID and password for online transactions, whatever you wanted to do.
Mhm.
Right? So what are you trying to do? You do not have a SRS document. You do not have a video exploring how to do what transactions with the steps. But what we generally do, we try to log in with the user ID password provided, and then you explore the system, right? So no customer will have, for any banking application, no customer will have SRS document, right?
Yeah.
So what we generally have is all about explore the system. That's it. So that's what
Okay.
exactly called as exploratory testing. Whenever a new tester joins to my project, so what I would tell them is, please do the exploratory testing.
Okay.
So I give application URL, like say Facebook is an example, like say Facebook is your project, right? You go to Facebook page, just type in whatever the test environment URL you have, and then try to explore, okay, what are the options? Okay, first it's asked to create an account. Try to create an account. Log in with the created account. Then explore what are the features that Facebook is having. Right?
Okay.
So that is what exactly called an exploratory testing. This testing is basically given to the new team member, whoever is joining into a project, We tell them by giving the application URL and we tell
Explore.
them explore the system.
Yeah.
So you log in and you understand what Facebook is doing, what are the features it has, click each and every link and try to explore it and perform some testing. So you are doing the testing while exploring.
Yeah.
So you are doing the testing while exploring the system. That's why we call it as an exploratory
Explore.
test.
Testing. Okay.
Okay. Then compatibility testing. I mean, while doing the exploratory testing also, you find a lot of defects.
Yes.
You can find a lot of defects, or you can even have feedback. You can give valid features. It's good to have these features, right? I mean, let's say that you do online banking transactions while you wanted to transfer the funds. That's what you are trying to explore while doing. You found that it is very typical and it has a lot of steps in order to do the transfer funds. You can come up with the suggestion like it has, let's say that it has 9 steps to do the simple online transaction. So you can say that, can we guys reduce couple of steps because it takes a lot of time for the end user to do all these 9 steps in order to do the simple funds transfer, right? So you guys
Yeah.
have to suggest valid feedback, whatever the thing that you feel while doing the compatibility testing.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, exploratory testing. So when it comes to compatibility testing, compatibility nowadays, you also aware that a lot of mobile phones, tablets, different operating systems, and different browsers. Someone uses
Yeah.
Android, someone uses iOS, someone uses Chrome browser, someone uses Windows, someone uses Firefox, someone uses Microsoft Edge, right?
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
uses Safari browser. So whenever I do the testing, I need to make sure that my system is really compatible with all the browsers and all the operating systems that are available in the market, right? So
Okay.
now I have a Facebook application. Facebook is compatible in any of the browser. It is compatible in any of the mobile. Maybe it is in iOS, or maybe it is an Android operating system, or maybe it is under Windows operating system. So they are
Yes.
making sure that their application is compatible in any of the browser or any of the device and any of the operating system what we have.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is what called as compatibility testing.
Okay.
It means that I have so many different types of browsers and versions of the browsers, and I have so many types of what you what you call operating systems in the market. I have so many devices. Someone uses mobile, someone uses tablet, someone uses desktop, someone uses the laptop. So
Yeah.
question is, do I need to test my product or application in all of these things, whatever available in the market? Do I need to test it in all the browsers, all the operating system, all the versions, all the devices?
No.
Then who is going to decide? So client is going,
Compatibility testing.
yeah, compatibility testing has to be done for sure as per today's market, because I cannot ask my customer to use only Windows
Yeah.
and the desktop and Chrome only, right? So it's up to the customer. Someone uses whatever they wanted to use it, let them use it. But I wanted to make sure my system should be working fine in all these browsers and everything.
Yeah.
So whenever we prepare an SRS document or whenever we meet the client, we talk to the client and understand that,
Mhm.
get the information from the client in which browser you wanted your application to be compatible, in which operating systems you want this to be compatible, and in which devices you want this to be compatible, and in which operating system you want this to be compatible. It's not we who are going to decide. We always
Okay.
ask the client on which
Okay.
browsers, operating system, whatever I just explained, you want us to
Yeah.
test it. So client says, I want it to be compatible in Chrome and Microsoft Edge, right? And then I want it to be compatible with Windows, Android, iOS operating systems, and I want this to be compatible with what else remaining? Operating systems we are done, browsers we are done, and then you have devices. So I want this to be compatible with mobile handsets, tablets, and as well as laptops.
Yeah.
So this is what my requirement is. Okay. So if you go to my blog, I have question number 29, in which I clearly mention what is compatibility testing and what do you consider here as part of this testing. So this testing is performed to make sure system is compatible in different browsers, operating systems, and devices.
Devices.
We need get requirement from the client. As mentioned, we need to get the requirement from the client, what exactly client is looking as part of compatibility of system. Means in which browsers, operating systems, and devices should be compatible testing, compatibility testing. Okay, so you need to ask the client where and all, what and all he wanted, or they wanted it to be compatible. Okay. And next, what we need to consider below? We need to consider below while doing compatibility testing. So what we need to consider, the first one is browsers. We reach client asking in which browsers application needs to be compatible. Let's say client says application needs to be compatible with Chrome, IE, and Firefox browsers. Then we need to test application in all these browsers. In all these browsers, also we need to check with the client which version of the browsers in which it needs to test.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean only client says these are the browsers, you still need to ask on which browsers, versions of the browsers. If you take an example of IE, IE has something like IE6, IE7, IE8, IE9, IE10, IE11, right? And after that, there is they deprecated Internet Explorer. They changed it to Microsoft Edge now. There is no IE in the market now. IE11 is the latest version, and they stopped that version, and that's the last version for IE. And then they moved into Microsoft Edge. So you need to ask the client if you want it to be compatible in Internet Explorer browser, and which version it should support, right? So which version it should support? Maybe IE9 or IE6. So let's say the client says anything above IE9. So you need to document in the SRS indicating you need to test it in IE, Chrome, and Firefox browsers, but you need to test in IE version anything that above version number 9.
Okay.
Okay. So that you need to validate. If client says IE9 and above, you need to test this in the IE9 and above versions.
Okay.
Any questions on compatibility with respect to the browsers?
No.
Now, next move on to operating systems. Just give me a minute. I'll open it in this browser. Now, if you can see, I opened it in Chrome. My blog is compatible in Chrome. Okay, I'm not seeing any issues here. Now I'm going to Microsoft Edge. Okay, I'm just placing the same URL and I wanted to see whether it is working fine or not. I mean, it is displaying correctly or not in my Microsoft Edge. This is another version. Question number 29, right? Yeah. So now I opened it in Chrome. I see there are no issues. It is looking good. And then I opened Microsoft Edge also. I see there is a WhatsApp icon here and as well as here also. Okay. And I see we are here to help you. It is also available in Chrome and as well as in the Microsoft Edge. And I do not see any issues here. So that's what you need to do when you are doing compatibility testing with respect to the browsers. Now I go on operating system. Now in operating systems, we reach to client asking in which operating systems this application needs to be compatible. If client says this application needs to be compatible in iOS, Android, and Windows, then we are going to do the testing in
these operating
systems, right? And again, like as we check the versions of the browser, similarly, you also have versions for the operating systems.
Okay.
You have Windows 96, 97, 98, 2000. These are the very old versions, right? 2008, 2010 is the latest version now. So check which versions client want is their application to be compatible with.
Okay.
Okay. If client says it needs to be compatible, then you need to check if client says different operating systems, then you need to check versions first and then check which devices. If client says it needs to be compatible with mobile, tablet and laptop, then we need to test application in these devices.
Okay.
Any questions? That's about the compatibility testing. Okay. So generally you should get one question here. Now I have written 1000 test cases as an example. We'll discuss what is test case and how to write the test cases in coming sessions. Now let's say I have 1000 test cases which I have written. Now client says 3 browsers, 3 operating systems and 3 devices.
Okay.
So do I need to execute all these test cases in all these browsers, operating systems and devices?
First, we need to check whether it is compatible with this version.
Let me give an example to understand it easier. I have a Facebook account.
Okay.
I'm working for Facebook application. Okay, client says same thing, same three operating system devices and the browsers, right? So now I have a feature called register an account with the Facebook.
Okay.
So when you wanted to register an account with the Facebook, do you think you need to test that register account is one test case what I have? Example. Do you think I need to execute this one test case in 3 browsers, 3 operating systems, and 3 devices?
No.
Then
No.
how do you do compatibility testing in this case?
Yeah, we can test in any one browser.
Okay. No, you need to test it, right? So if client says you have to test it in different browsers, do you think it is not needed to test it in Chrome, Firefox, and Microsoft Edge?
Yeah. If client says we need to test, then we have to test.
So that's what I'm saying. So one test case to be executed in how many times? What? How many devices you have?
Yeah.
3 devices: tablet, mobile, and laptop, right?
Laptop. Yeah.
How many operating systems you have?
3. Yeah.
How many operating systems you have?
3.
Total, how many you have now?
9.
So I have to execute one test case in 9 times.
Yeah.
One time in Chrome, one time in IE, one time in Firefox. Then iOS, Android, Windows, and then one time mobile, tablet, and the laptop.
Laptop.
If you have to execute
Mm-hmm.
like this, I have 1,000 test cases here.
Yeah.
So one test case you are executing how many times? 9 times.
9 times. Yeah.
1,000 test cases, how many times you have to execute in this case? If this is the compatibility, if you have to do compatibility testing.
900 times.
Already 1,000 test cases you have. How come 900? 9,000.
Yeah, 9,000.
So do you think the client will agree? For 1,000 test cases itself, it will take 6 months to 8 months time,
Yeah.
right? So if you have to execute it for 9,000 times, how much time it would take? You're increasing it 9 times.
Yes.
So it will take, if you say 6 months, right? So increase it 9 times. 48 months it will take,
Yeah.
almost all 4 years. In general, you should be able to execute them in 6 months. Because of compatibility testing, they say you have to execute it in different browsers, whatever. Do you think that client has to wait for 48 months, which is equivalent to 4 years?
No.
So that's where automation takes a major role also. So whenever you
Okay.
automate it, you need to make sure, based on the client requirement, you need to do the compatibility testing. Okay. So because client cannot wait for 48 months, you still have to complete it in the 6 months only with the help of automation. Okay.
Okay.
So just change the browser name, browser equal to Chrome, it will execute in Chrome. Change the browser name equal to Firefox, it will execute it in the Firefox. Change the name into Microsoft Edge, it will execute all same test cases in your Microsoft Edge. And then change the device equal to tablet, change the device equal to laptop, change the device equal to mobile, and it will do that.
Okay.
Okay. So sometimes few projects are very keen for mobile and operating systems. We have simulators. You don't have to have a mobile device with iOS or Android, whatever, right? So we can still go ahead and do it with the simulators. So we have simulators in the market. You need to use that software to simulate your compatibility testing with respect to your devices. Some clients are very keen. They provide all the devices, whatever we are talking. Okay. If I have 9 testers in my team, and all 9 testers will have iOS, Android, and the Windows devices, like one tablet, one mobile phone, and one
Laptop.
laptop. All these 3, all 9 resources will have all these devices. And some applications should be tested on the smartwatches. Okay.
Okay.
You also have smartwatches, right? So you need to even consider that based on your requirement. Like say if you are working for a car, nowadays not nowadays, long back, we can open, unlock, and lock the car through our smartphone itself,
Yeah.
or even with your smart watch also.
Yeah.
So in that case, the client is going to provide you the smart watch also to you.
Okay.
You need to do the testing under using the smart watch also. So if you take if you're working for a Samsung as an example, or iPhone, Apple, so these two companies are having the smart watches, right? So
Yeah.
whenever they develop a smartwatch, you need to do thorough testing only on the smartwatch itself. You will not do it anywhere, only on the smartwatch.
Okay.
Okay. Then the next question is, do I really need to execute all the test cases in all the browsers and the operating systems and browsers and devices? Answer is no. So most of the time, what issues you find in compatibility testing is about look and feel and alignment issues. Okay. Now, if you take an example of this particular block, I see no alignment issues in everything looks good. And this is my Chrome browser. Now I move on
Yeah.
to Microsoft Edge. Even here also I see alignment and all looking good. But your content is same. You don't need to
Yeah.
validate the content because it is same thing. Either you open in Chrome or in Microsoft Edge, it doesn't matter. It is going to display the same thing here.
Yeah.
Okay. So most of the time for GUI testing, we try to validate look and feel of the application and alignment issues and overlapping issues. It should not, one field should not overlap on another field. And then alignment issue. Sometimes some values doesn't allow to type in something in one browser, but somewhere it works fine. So all those things, most of the time we try to do the user interface, nothing but the look and feel of the application. That's what we try to do it in the GUI testing.
Okay.
We call it a GUI testing, which is nothing but graphical user interface.
Yeah.
So which is nothing but you need to validate it in your compatibility testing. Okay.
Okay.
That's what about the compatibility testing. Any questions?
So compatibility testing is used for automation.
Yeah,
Used in
yeah. If you have two browsers in which you need to test it, we execute them in two browsers. Today I'll change, I'll put 1,000 test cases. Browser type equal to Chrome,
Firefox, Chrome. Yeah.
and it will execute it in the Chrome. And tomorrow I'll change the browser type equal to Internet Explorer. It will go and execute it under the Internet Explorer.
Okay.
But most of the time we don't do manual testing for compatibility. But for whatever
Okay.
the look and feel, GUI testing, you can do it manually also. Not an issue.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's try to understand the installation testing. I think I should have in my browser. Okay, I have. Okay, installation testing means whenever you do the testing, like you have your product, right?
Yeah.
Let's say that operating system, Windows. So we already discussed the difference between product and the project, right?
Yeah.
So product used by multiple people across the globe.
Yes.
There is no, it is not developed for the specific client, right? So
Yeah.
when we talk about installation testing, so what we are trying to do under installation testing, you want to buy an operating system, right? So whenever you want to buy an operating system, you need to install it. You need to pay and then install it. Now,
Yeah.
if you take this my blog, do you need any installation here?
No.
You don't need any installation, right?
Yeah.
So if you are working for any products, basically, which requires the installation, you need to install it and then start using it. Then you need to do the installation testing. Operating system is an example. And then you have one more thing called, which is called MS Office. You want to buy a product called MS Office. You need to do the installation, right? You go online, purchase it, click on download, then you have to go through the installation process. Now you want it you wanted to use the GoToMeeting, right? Or Zoom meeting. You need to install the Zoom app or you need to install the GoToMeeting app on your mobile. So
Yeah.
whenever you are working for products like these, whatever examples I have given, like operating system, MS Office, GoToMeeting, Zoom app, or any gaming apps, you take your mobile, right? We always do a lot of installation under our mobiles, right?
Yeah.
So once now you might have installed it as an end user, as a customer on your mobile, but before it is coming to the end user, what we do thorough testing, right? So I'll
Yeah.
make sure I'll install GoToMeeting
Mm-hmm.
in my mobile device, right? And
Yeah.
I'll make sure it is installing successfully, and I'll try to open it and do a lot of testings for installation. And then
Okay.
once you confirm it is working fine, then you are going to give it to the
End user.
end user. Move it to UAT, client will do the testing from UAT, and then once they confirm, then we make it available to the customer. So whatever the app installation or download it from the browser and do it, you all are doing it from the installation testing only. Now, when you wanted to do the installation, there are two types of installation. One is through browser online. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
And another one is through the CD, right? You go to
Okay.
store and you wanted to buy an operating system.
Yeah.
You just go to the store and you buy a CD, which is given in the CD. Then you insert your CD, right? You insert your CD to your laptop and then try to do the installation in it, right?
Yeah.
So you need to do this testing through online, and as well as you need to do this testing through, what do you call, with the CD also, to make sure that installation is working fine without having any issues.
Okay.
This is what exactly the installation testing is.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Any questions on installation?
Okay.
Even for installation testing also, you will have detailed requirements which are given in user story or in the SRS document also, what and all you have to verify. So once you install it, you must be knowing everything would be there under control panel, right? You have a control panel, right? Whatever you installed, you have
Yeah.
something called installed softwares. You will see all the installed softwares under control panel. So like that, you need to make sure it is showing under control panel and it is showing under system registry. All those information will be given to you in the requirements or in the user story for you. Where and all you have to validate, all these things.
Okay.
Similarly, you have uninstallation testing. Now, if you take simple example of your mobile, nowadays everyone using the smartphone, right? So you don't want to use some apps in your mobile because it is taking most of the time,
Yeah.
and you don't want to use them, due to which it is increasing your performance of your mobile. So you don't want to use it, right? So what you do, you just go ahead and uninstall it.
Yeah.
So similarly, how you did
Yes.
installation testing, same way you have to do the uninstallation testing also, right?
Okay. Whether it is
You are
uninstalling
able to
properly or not.
uninstall the software. Are you able to uninstall your some apps in your mobile or on tablet? So you need to make sure, install it, start using it, and check it is working fine after installation. Then again try to
Okay.
uninstall it. Once it is
Okay.
uninstalled, it should not be there in your control panel or it should not be there in your mobile phone if you
Okay.
are uninstalling any app, right? So
Yeah.
that is what you are going to validate under uninstallation testing.
Testing. Okay.
Install it, test it, and then uninstall it and make sure it is removed and uninstalled successfully without any issues.
Issues. Okay.
Okay, that's what exactly the uninstallation Testing what we
Testing.
do. Any questions on installation and uninstallation?
No.
Okay. Now let's move on for regression testing. In my blog, I very detailedly explained about regression testing. Go to question number 27, in which I have mentioned about the regression testing. So before jumping into it, what
Okay.
is regression testing? Let's try to understand. So we discussed about ongoing products. Ongoing products are like, you have smartphones. I just gave an example, right? iPhone or Samsung with the different versions. So what
Yeah.
is happening in ongoing products? Every day, developers keep on adding the new code, right? Let's take an example. I have, let me give an example. I have a sprint one, okay? And I have
Yeah.
two user stories. User story, it's two sprints. In sprint one, I have 5 requirements. In sprint two, I have 5 requirements. So I will call it as Samsung version 1 and I will release it to the market. Okay.
No.
End users started using in the market with the version 1, S1. Let's say S1 is the version. Now you
Okay.
have sprint 3 and they wanted to release S2 version also. When I wanted to release S2 version, what I wanted to do, I take another 2 sprints, which consist of 10 user stories again, 10 additional new features, 10 new additional features, what I am providing to version 2, right? So version 1 is already, S1 is already in the market. Now I have S2 version.
Okay.
And this version having another 10 user stories as part of sprint 1 and sprint 2. Then what is happening here? You already have S1 in the market. Now what developer is doing? Developer is, you thoroughly tested the sprint 1 and sprint 2 for S1 version. Okay. And client also tested, you moved it to production. Now when it comes to S2 version, then the developer has to modify the code or add the new code on top of existing code.
Yeah.
So what is existing code? Which is nothing but version sprint 1 and sprint 2, which is part of S1 version that is already available, right? So which is already tested. Now what developer is doing? Developer is keep on adding the new code or modifying the code because of the new versions on which you wanted to introduce to the market. So now, how do we make sure whenever the developer is modifying my code or adding the new code on top of existing code, how do we make sure the developer is not creating the defects in existing system? Are you getting what I'm saying? How do we make sure the developer is not introducing the defects on existing system which is already tested? It would have an impact, right? So obviously, whenever you are modifying the code, maybe they create a defect. Now, that's what exactly the regression testing. You need to make sure whenever the new code is getting added, okay? Whenever the new code is getting added or modified on top of existing code is modified or adding the new code on top of the existing code, we need to make sure that existing system is not broken or not introduced any defects here.
Impacted.
It is not impacting. Now let's take an example, like I detailedly explained. Like say I have a sprint 1. Okay. I got these 4 user stories. We got below user stories or requirements from the client.
Okay.
And let's say we have written 100 test cases for 4 user stories. Okay. Now you got the user stories. For every user story, we write the test cases. We will discuss what is the test case in coming sessions. Now, these are the user stories in sprint 1. Users should be able to register an account. Let's say This is your banking application. Okay.
Yeah.
Should be able to register an account. User should be able to add beneficiary.
Beneficiaries.
Then user should be able to transfer funds within the bank. In Sprint
Okay.
1, I'm saying if you have a Citibank, you should be able to transfer to Citibank, not to other banks.
Yeah.
Fourth user story is about user should be able to raise a complaint through online once login. These are the four what I have got as part of my Sprint 1.
Okay.
Now, let's say you have written 100 test cases as a tester, and you tested it thoroughly, you executed all 100 test cases, and then you have given it to the client as part of your UAT testing, and client is also done UAT testing, and then you got to go for the Sprint 2.
Okay.
Now, in Sprint 2, we got below user stories, right?
Yeah.
Like user should be able to raise checkbook request through online. User should be able to transfer funds to other banks as well. User should be able to transfer funds to other banks as well, the second one. And
Yeah.
third one, user should be able to pay bills online after login.
Yeah.
Another story is user should be able to apply for credit card.
Credit card.
Right. Now, in order to develop these user stories by the developer, what the developer has to do, the developer has to add the new code on top of existing code, which is done in the Sprint 1.
Sprint 1. Yeah.
Now, the question to you is, Sprint 1 you tested, mean you executed 100 test cases. You have Sprint 2, for which you have written 50 test cases. Now, anyhow, you have to execute these 50 test cases for sure to test these new user stories, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you also need to test these 100 test cases in Sprint 2? These 100 test cases are from Sprint 1.
Yeah.
Do you think so? You mean to say in Sprint 2 you need to test 150 test cases?
Yes, we need to test.
Why?
Because in Sprint 1, we need to make sure that the newly added Sprint 2 code is not impacting the Sprint 1.
Okay. Now you get the Sprint 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what the question I'm asking here. So we do testing of all user stories as part of Sprint 1. Means we execute 100 test cases as part of step 1 in Sprint 1. And in step 2, same as step 1, we execute 50 test cases which are written for Sprint 2, right? Now the next,
Yeah.
what's next? Now it's time to consider regression testing. Why I'm saying to consider regression testing? Because developer adding the new code on top of Sprint 1 code, right?
Yeah.
So we need to do impact to base analysis. So what do you mean by impact to base analysis? And consider what to test as part of regression testing here. So what you answered is wrong. I cannot test all 100 test cases every time.
Yeah.
Now let's say that I go to Sprint 3 and I've written 200 test cases. In that case, we want to execute 50 test cases from Sprint 2 and 100 test cases from Sprint 1 along with 200 in Sprint 3. Then you go to Sprint 4, Sprint 5. Do you think you always have to execute all the test cases from Sprint 1 to current sprint in the current sprint? Then what we need to do? We need to do the impact-based analysis. What do you mean by impact-based analysis here? Impact-based analysis, compare these 4 user stories and take these 4 user stories, which is having a relevant here. Is this adding a checkbook request is modifying any existing code here? Is he writing any, is he modifying new code Or sorry, is he writing the new code or modifying the code?
I think the new code.
Is writing the new code. Now check the second user story. User should be able to transfer funds to other banks as
Other
well.
banks.
So is this impacting to any of these user stories?
No.
No, you read every user story you will get.
Within the bank it's there, but other bank also it's not there.
Check the user story, this one. User should be able to transfer funds within the bank. Now, what is this second user story talking in Sprint 2?
Okay, it should be transferred to other banks as well.
So there is an impact here. So
Yeah.
you tested within the bank, it is working fine. So developer is modifying that code. I mean, it is related to the functionality that is being already tested in the Sprint 1.
Yes.
So you need to test this user story again.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
There is a relation here, right? It is impacting to the existing functionality. Adding checkbook request is nowhere relevant to the Sprint 1 user stories. Now take the another one. User should be able to pay bills online after login. So there is no relation, right? There is nothing code written for paying the bill. So developer writing the new code, no issues. That new code you're already testing. Your new code you're already testing with this 50 test cases.
Yes.
And user should be able to apply credit card. Is there any relevant here in the Sprint 1? Nothing, right? So this is what exactly called impact-based analysis. So you need to check what user stories are there in Sprint 1 and what user stories you have in Sprint 2. Which user story is getting impacted to the Sprint 1? Whenever I say Sprint 1, the previous sprint. So you need to take the test cases that are related to transfer funds within the bank.
Yeah.
You need to take the test cases that are written transfer funds within the bank, right? And then you need to execute these test cases, not 100 test cases. Okay. Let's say you have written six test cases for this one. Take these 6 test cases from Sprint 1 and again execute under Sprint 2 along with the 50 test cases. So client will not allow to execute every time same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I think I might be explaining here. If you look at 4 requirements from Sprint 1 and 4 other requirements from Sprint 2, requirement 3, which we tested as part of Sprint 1, user story 3. So what is this user story 3? Within the bank, transfer fund.
Yeah.
Then if you see requirement 2, which says transfer funds to other bank. In Sprint 1, we tested the funds transfer within the bank, but here developer is modifying the code of transfer funds to implement funds transfer to other bank as well. So there is an impact to the one user story from your previous sprint. So in Sprint 1, we tested requirement 3, but Sprint 2 requirement, right, has impact on Sprint 1 story. So here we need to consider testing of requirement 3 from Sprint 1 as part of regression testing.
Regression testing.
Any questions? I think that's what I detailedly explained with example, right? So that should be fair enough.
Yeah.
You can go through it again.
Yeah.
And then you can come back to me if you have any questions.
Okay. Yeah.
So whenever you are being taken into a project, your supervisor or your client always says only one word. Make sure you thoroughly do the regression testing.
Okay.
Whenever the client says you do thorough regression testing, your client or your supervisor will not come and explain the impact-based analysis. They
Yeah.
expect you should know what is regression testing. They expect you should do the impact based analysis and make sure you thorough do the regression testing. Now, in case if you would have not done this impact based analysis in sprint 2, if you don't do this testing again, so maybe developer would have introduced a defect in sprint 1 because of this new feature.
Yeah.
If client finds a defect in UAT, within the funds after deploying sprint 2, funds transfer within the bank is not working, but outside the bank it is working fine. The first question comes, who tested this feature? If I say you tested this feature, then they will ask you a question, why did you miss this? Why did you consider this under regression testing? So regression testing plays the major role when it comes in Agile. Okay. So why it plays the major role in Agile? Because every sprint you will have a 2 weeks time or 3 weeks time. So every 2 weeks or in a month, you keep on, when I say you, the developer would be keep on adding the code or modifying the code every time. They keep doing that every time.
Yeah.
So you need to do impact based analysis and make sure you thoroughly do the regression testing for every sprint. Right? Whenever we talked about sprint grooming, they ask the estimations how much time you need to take to test this user story or to develop the user story. Right? I explained the sprint grooming, right? Where the product owner comes and explain what is this user story is all about, right? So they also ask you to provide the estimations, how many hours it will take for development and testing. So when you are doing that estimation, you need to consider the regression estimation also.
Okay.
For example, in sprint 1, you are testing what? In sprint 2, you are testing the one of the user story from sprint 1 again, right? So you are executing 5 additional test cases. Everyone aware, sprint 2, you have estimations provided, 50 test cases, you have mentioned 20 hours or 100 hours, that's fine. But how about the sprint 1? Regression. You need to also mention that, hey, this is impacting to the regression. So I would need additional 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you have mentioned 20 hours, you add additional 8 hours or 9 hours for your regression testing. If someone is saying 20 hours should be fair enough, why are you adding additional 9 hours? Then you need to mention there is a regression impact for this user story. So we have to consider that estimates also.
Yeah.
Okay. That is one way of doing the regression testing. Okay.
Okay.
Another way of doing the regression testing, nowadays, automation has become mandatory because of this regression impact. So why it has become mandatory? Because of this Agile, every sprint has you keep on modifying or adding the new code, right? Every time, every sprint. If I take Samsung S1 version, you add the code, newly code. Then go to version S2 version, S3 version, S4 version, S5 version. It just goes on, right? So the development team is keep on adding or modifying the code. How do we make sure newly added code is not impacting to the existing system? Now, let's say an example, Samsung released S9 version. Okay. So S9 version will always consist features of version 1 to version 8 also. Correct? So once they release the S9 version, let's say some of the features of S8 version are not working.
Yeah.
A lot of issue will happen in the market, right? They released S9 version, but it has broken all the features of S8 version. Maybe they would say that if it is regression testing is not done thoroughly. So that's one way of doing. Another way of doing, why I'm saying automation has become mandatory in Agile. So these are the core features, right? If you look at the banking application of these user stories, these all are common, are core of the system, right? Every user will be using it. Every user will register, every user add beneficiaries, every user will transfer the funds, every user will raise a complaint, every user will raise a checkbook request, do funds transfer to other banks, pay the bills, credit card bills or whatever bills, and then apply for credit card. These are the core of the system.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we try to automate everything. When I say everything, all features, core of the system, we try to automate them. Now, when you are in sprint 1, when we talk about automation in Agile, there are two plans for automation. One is in sprint automation, one is N-1 automation. What do you mean by in sprint automation? Now I'm in the sprint 1. I got 4 user stories. I have to automate 4 user stories in sprint 1 only. Now say I have 2 weeks of time. In 2 weeks of time, I need to write the test cases, do manual testing, and also automate all these 4 user stories. Okay.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks time only. This is called in sprint automation.
Okay.
When you go to sprint 2, whenever sprint 2 is given to the testing team, so I don't have to do much impact based analysis here because I already automated all user stories. When it comes to sprint 2, I execute automation of 4 user stories which I have done. So you are already doing that automation in the sprint 1 you completed. So when you come to sprint 2, we execute those 4 user stories as part of your regression automation. This is called sprint automation. There is one more thing called N-1 automation. N means your current sprint. Now in sprint 1, you don't automate it. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In sprint 1, you do manual testing of 4 user stories that are given here. Right?
Okay.
When you go to sprint 2, you start automating of sprint 1 user stories, N-1. You are in sprint 2, right? N is what is your current sprint? 2. -1 is what? N-1 means sprint 1 you need to automate in your sprint 2.
Okay.
Okay. So you need to automate them in sprint 2 and you also need to execute that automated script in your sprint 2. So we call this as kind of end-to-end flow. So we have a terminology called end-to-end flow. So what do you mean by end-to-end flow? If you take a banking application, whatever the more features you have, your banking application starts from where? It starts with your registering an account, login with logged in user ID, the created user ID, and add beneficiary, transfer the funds within the bank or outside the bank, then delete the beneficiary or modify the beneficiary, right? And raise a checkbook request, right? And then raise a complaint, and then pay the bills online and apply for the credit card. When I say pay bills, pay credit card bills or your mobile phone bills or your gas bills or electricity bills, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And then delete the beneficiary, right? And these all are called as end-to-end flow. Then finally, block your account, block your card and see, unblock your card and see, and make sure that once your card is expired, it will send an email to get the new card of renewal. And then once you do everything, then close your account and see that your account should be closed and the system should not allow to log in the user once the account is closed. So all these things, right? All these things are called end-to-end flow. It starts with registering an account, it ends with closing an account. So all these are the core features of the system. Some people call it as a core features or some people call it as an end-to-end flow. You need to make sure you thoroughly automate of end-to-end flow of your system, or you thoroughly automate core of your system. That is what exactly called regression automation. Okay. So when we do regression, that you already got the clarity. You do one way of doing is you do impact based analysis and take those test cases, and execute it in the current sprint. That's one way of doing. Another way of doing is about you automate every user
Automated.
story. Not every,
Yeah.
you don't need to automate every user story. Okay.
Yeah.
So you need to automate only core features of the user stories. And then you run it for every sprint. Now you go to sprint 3. Sprint 1 is automated. Sprint 2 is also automated.
Automated.
Once sprint 3 is released to you, execute automation that covers sprint 1 and sprint 2.
Sprint 2.
So where you do not require any manual efforts here.
Wow.
Okay, I know I took a lot of time explaining regression testing because it is most important thing for every tester to know. If you do not know what is regression testing, you will not do impact based analysis, then a lot of defects would be missing from your end. And a lot of questions will come to you, why didn't you do regression? Right?
Yeah.
And because of which you got these many defects. No, I don't want that to come. So that's the reason even in my blog also I clearly written with the example detailedly with the test cases count and explaining how many you need to test it from the sprint 1.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions? And one more way of doing the regression testing is now when the huge count of defects are fixed. So developer is adding or modifying the code as long as they are keep on moving to the new sprints, right? Also, developer modifying the code even when they are fixing the defects also, right? They modify the code to fix the defect. So whenever they are modifying the code for huge count of defect fixes, you still need to do the regression testing because they are fixing the defects and they are modifying the code to fix the defects. I don't want new defects to be introduced in the existing system because of modifying the code for defect fixes. Even in that case also you need to do the regression testing. So if you look at it overall, you have a lot of efforts that you need to spend under regression testing.
Yeah.
Okay. To avoid that manual intervention on doing this manual testing, we try to always go with the automation. Okay. Since you keep on go with the new sprints and you need to make sure you have to test all. Now, if I take this an example, if I have to do end-to-end testing, I mean, core of the system, all these 4 and these 4, 8 user stories are core of the system only, major functionalities. So even in the sprint 2, I have to test all 100 test cases and 50 test cases as part of sprint 2. I don't want to waste my time for doing the manual testing for 100 test cases and then try to automate it. Okay.
Yeah.
That is exactly called as regression testing. Any questions so far, whatever we have discussed, like smoke testing, build verification testing, exploratory testing, compatibility testing, installation testing, uninstallation testing, and regression testing. Any questions?
No.
Yeah, most of them are already there in my blog. So you can go through my blog and then come back if you have any questions. Okay. And we'll catch up for the remaining cases.
Yeah.
This one's like ad hoc sanity testing, usability testing, and the non-functional testing. We'll see functional testing versus non-functional testing.
Okay.
So you can go through my blog. Majorly, you can go through manual testing interview questions, and that would provide you most of the things whatever we are discussing now. Okay, remember you have to go with the manual testing interview question.
Yeah.
So you might get an interview question. Oh, how do you do? What is regression testing? How do you make sure existing system is not broken because of the new code or new sprint? So all these questions will be generally triggering as part of interview. Okay. We'll catch up tomorrow. Bye for now.
Okay.